We knew there was a storm coming. The weather forecasters had finally got one right, but we had plans. Would we have to change those plans? I didn't want to do it because we had crew members on this trip that had never been on the Broads before. I wanted to show them as much of it as possible. At the boatyard they give us a leaflet that said how severe the storm might be, where to moor up, where best not to moor up, and to get a safe mooring and just sit there and ride it out until it's over. Now this severely affected my plans because we was going to go miles. Our first stop off I'd planned was at Thorndyke at the Lion Inn, and we intended to stick to that because the weather wasn't that bad, as we got the boat at 1 o'clock and we was away for about 1:45, and we would get to the Lion Inn and reconsider our plans over one or two refreshments. More of that later. It was an interesting week. This little snippet now is just a couple of days of it, and hopefully it wasn't about to turn our world upside down. It's a bit like Blair Witch Project, this. Nine go out. How many come back? Into the pub, play pool. Before we went for a few refreshments, I phoned the Great Yarmouth Yacht Station and asked the guys down there what's the situation for the next morning, because we was planning on an early start, 7 o'clock to get to Yarmouth for around about 10. But there was no point us setting off too far if Breydon was shut because of the storms, which they would have done. And the guy said they wasn't sure at the time and to ring in the morning. So if it had been closed then, I would have come up with a plan B and we would have looked at staying up north. And then my plan now was to get round to Stracy Arms, moor up for 5 minutes and ring up the yacht station again there while we have a cup of tea and some breakfast, and see what the situation is then. We didn't have a late night in the pub because Sun was very tired, as you saw earlier. But I was up early, wanted to be away for 7 o'clock at the latest, really. It didn't matter if we got to Stracy Arms and they told us we couldn't go through Breydon, we would just turn around and get the plan B going. Woke up and it was not a bad morning. The sky's a bit moody in places, and it was good to get even moodier the further we went down, and then they got quite nice. And as you'll see through the rest of the film, it was like you would think that this footage is from 2 different days, but it's not. This is all the same day. It's part of it going down to Yarmouth now. By the time we got to Stokesby, we'd had a little bit of rain, but not too much. And with the rivers bending so much, 1 minute you're heading towards sunshine, next minute you're heading towards darkness. And very shortly, as we come up to Stracy Arms, it goes very dark. On approach of Stracy Arms, I decided that I would ring Yarmouth Yacht Station up so that we didn't have to stop. if we could get through, and the guy told me, this was 8:30 in the morning, and he told me that there was no problem, Breydon was open and there was a clearance of 8'10" on the bridge, which meant that we could go through now if we wanted without even taking the canopy down, which was great. So plan A was still on. We was going south over Breydon. The plan was to go to Oulton Broad and let some of the youngsters run about with a game of rounders on Nicholas Everett Park. I would be joining them, of course. I'd booked a mooring at Waveney River Centre, and I'd like to be able to tell you that I did that because I knew that the storm was approaching and we needed somewhere safe to moor up. I didn't really fancy Oulton Broad at all, and you'll see why that was a good idea. And I'd love to be able to tell you that, like I said, but I'd booked this mooring months ago when the girl that I spoke to said, "Do you realise that's October?" And I said, yes, no problem. For a while on the way down from Stracy to Yarmouth, we was behind the boat going extremely slow. I think there was time in their approach to Yarmouth because it was early, and we wouldn't have set off for another half an hour yet if I hadn't have already known that we could get under the bridges. So young impatient Nathan, who was at the helm, decided that he doesn't like going at 3 miles an hour, so we would go more like the speed limit. So we did, we overtook them, and then off to Yarmouth. Well, looking at the skies, I was hoping that it was heading more towards the left than the right. I couldn't work out quite where it was going because obviously the river's bend that much, and I didn't think of looking at the map, to tell you the truth. And well, there's not a lot you can do about the weather, so left or right, we were still going. I cut this clip off because it's another half an hour yet before we get to Yarmouth or so, and so I've cut this bit, and as you see, you can still see nice blue skies towards the left and some interesting ones straight ahead and to the right. And when we got to Yarmouth, it was absolutely gorgeous, as you'll see anytime now. I promise you this is the same day. Well, you can see it's a little bit breezy, but nothing too ominous. So Yarmouth safely navigated, and it was off over Breydon. I told our young elm that he could put his foot down on here. There was no speed limit, and we wasn't in any rush. But you can't tell young kids, can you? Well, safely over Breydon and onto the River Waveney, and we're heading now towards Alton Broad for our game of rounders. I'm not sure now whether I will be playing rounders. Crossings over Breydon's made me feel rather queasy. I might have to go and sit down in a pub and have a cup of coffee or something while the rest of them run about. We will see when we get there. Well, as the day went on, the wind got up a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. Going down the dyke, you could see that the trees were blowing a little bit, and then we get on the Broad, and it's a big open Broad, obviously Alton Broad, and this is when I decided that I'm glad we're not mooring here tonight. I'm not sure that it shows it properly there, but when we get a bit nearer the yacht station and the wherry, it gets a bit choppy. So the closer we got to the yacht station, the decision was made that maybe around us we'll give it a miss. It's getting windier and windier all the time. Let's get to Waveney River Centre and get ourselves moored up there and tied in for the night. So we've got Kim and Sam at the front here enjoying the sunshine and the views until they realise they're then heading in the wind.
Watch that boy!
Now I certainly wouldn't have wanted to be moored up here on one of these boats. Well, I wouldn't mind owning one of these boats, but knowing what's to come with the winds, I should imagine anybody on these boats would have had a very, very rocky ride. And as we turn round now at the bottom, in between the yacht station and the Wherry Hotel, we was going to moor up there, but the wind is just trying to blow us to the banking, and as we turn around I think it tries to blow Kim and Sam off the boat, and it succeeds. Well, we went round to the marina after we got some water, and I thought it'd be easy mooring up in there, but it was the most difficult stern-on mooring we'd had. If it wasn't for the guy who dragged us round, we'd have still been there now. Anyway, we're supposed to be having a barbecue, but we sacked that because it was far too windy. So I got sent off to the pub to order some chips to go with the burgers and sausage that we was going to cook in the grill. And when I came back, the kids were having a go in the rowing boat, and
rowing the wrong way.
They are quite funny when they get in the rowing boat, because none of them can do it properly, except for Shauna and Lucy. The two lads was absolutely useless.
Wind assisted again. I tell you what. Here we go, rescue the boat.
The landlord in the pub, he put us a nice big tray of chips up to go with our burgers and sausages and stuff that we was going to be having on the barbecue.
Nathan.
And somebody had to take the tray back. It's a hard job, but somebody had to take it back. I got forced to do that, and I got talking to them about various things. One was wine, and they then sold me a bottle of wine going cheap because they was closing down any time now until next March. I wish them well. I think it was that red wine that sent me to sleep. Proper sleep. Didn't feel any wind in the night whatsoever, but next morning I woke up, it's windy and windier. But I could have done with going out anyway in the wind to wake me up. And when Sam pointed out that the canoes had blown off the stand, I realised how strong the wind had got, and then a guy came round to put those back up, and then I got sent to the shop.
What?
In that weather.
No, I shouldn't imagine it would. No. Don't get blown away. Hold hands. Pretend you love each other. Oh, my neck. It's really getting up now, isn't it? We've moved a bit, haven't we? Because we weren't that close. Bloody hell. Blow me over. Bloody blown off there.
I just noticed then that a branch had blown off a tree. I had to walk over to have a look, and it was a decent sized one as well. So the gust of the wind was a lot stronger than I thought at first.
Died down now.
But it soon blew over. In fact, it turned out quite nice.
Sun's out. Gorgeous. Back in the flags.
Well, we survived the storm. It's been quite an adventure, but we survived it. All that remained now was for Harry to get up on deck and mop up, and he soaked himself, and then we could get on with the rest of our holiday. Some more adventures. Off up to Norwich next, toward Coldham Hall is our place to stay tonight. We booked a table for 9 up there, and something quite funny happened up there, but that's another story for another day. I hope you enjoyed this little snippet on the couple of days into the storm and out of it, and my commiserations go out to anybody who did have any trouble with the storm. We were lucky, we was moored up securely and safely, and although it was quite windy, no harm came to anybody. But just down the road 4 miles away, I believe in Beccles, there was quite a few problems down there and accidents and so on. I did see on the news about trees blowing over. London had quite a few problems. So yeah, Mother Nature's a strong old beast. She doesn't take many prisoners. We must heed the warnings. Anyway, upwards and onwards.